I have decided to talk about my dad. And why I left and shit, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where to start? So I was in foster care, right?
Yeah.
For that time. And yeah, at one point my dad seemed to be getting better. He had a job. He had a house. And DCP were desperate and we had nowhere to go, so they were like, go with your dad, which is a dumb idea. There's a reason it's supposed to be 5 years. And then, after that you have no parental rights at all. So anyway, we went and lived with him. So that's all of us except for the oldest. Living with my dad. And at first, it seemed okay, but it quickly got really bad. Most of it was emotional and verbal abuse from my dad. And at first it was the oldest out of us that were living there, who was running everything. She was doing all the cooking and cleaning, but eventually she got tired of it, and the blonde one took over most of that, and then I had to, which was very bad timing for me, to be honest. But because my sister was an adult, my dad didn't discipline her, so she would have these massive tantrums over dumb things. I would go into her room to get the dishes so that I could clean them, and then she'd scream at me for going in her room, and then I'd flat out refuse to do her dishes, and then she would throw things at me, and she threw knives a couple times. One time she threw a butter knife, and it bounced off my leg. And another time she threw a proper kitchen knife.
And landed right in front of your foot.
Yeah, right in front of my foot. For some reason the butter knife annoyed me more though. But usually it was just containers and shit. Yeah. And then she'd yell at me because I was doing something else and she wanted me to do something. But that was later. Probably in the last 2 years. Yeah, we were doing everything. My dad didn't do much. He stopped going to work, and he would just be in his room all day, drinking alcohol, doing absolutely nothing. He stopped shopping for food. So we ended up having to buy food out of our own money. No one would take care of my little sister, so I had to do everything for her, and she did not want to listen to me. So every time I tried to give her a consequence for not doing something, putting her stuff in the hallway, everybody would yell at me for trying to teach her what to do and stuff. Anyway, the last year I was there, I took on a shit ton of schoolwork because school was the only thing that was keeping me sane. So I was doing uni prep before and after school, and I was doing 5 ATARs and a music set, which was insane. But then, my whole family would get mad at me because apparently I was lazy because I wanted to do my own homework. And we only had an iPad. We had one iPad for everyone to use. And they would be mad at me because I was on the iPad all the time. I was doing homework all the time. So that was frustrating. Yeah, and eventually it became impossible for me to do my homework. And they would yell at me and throw things for me just trying to do my homework, man. And my dad was very strict about when we went to bed and when we had showers and shit like that. Just really dumb things. I was basically doing all the chores in the house at this point. And I had like no food. Yeah. One time my dad bashed a hole in a door. Don't remember why he was mad at me, but he bashed a hole in the door and told me it was that on my head. That was brilliant. And they used to wake up my little sister, because we shared a room. So they'd go and wake her up at like 12 a.m. because they wanted her to do something that she hadn't completed. Like, keep in mind that she was, 7-ish? Maybe? And probably has ADHD, and they just didn't care. It's 12 a.m. I'd be like, why have you turned on the light? Please turn it off. Let me sleep. And then they'd get mad at me, and sometimes they'd lean over my bed and slap me in my face. It was great. Yeah. There was some other stuff that I didn't remember at the time. You don't need to go into detail about that. But eventually it got so hard for me to do school and shit that I told my psych that I had been thinking about leaving for like 2 years at that point. And she was like, I spoke to my caseworker about it, and then my caseworker helped me get out and go to a girls' shelter. So I stayed there for 4 months. Technically I was only supposed to stay for 3 months, but they let me stay 1 more. And it was even more crazy because then I was trying to live on my own for the first time and go to school. And that was insane. Some days I was waking up at 5 a.m. And then if I missed my bus, I would also miss the train and then the other bus. So that was a little bit nuts. And then I came to Fusion and I met you. And I was still going to school, so I was catching a bus, a train, and then another bus. Yeah, I was still waking up at 5 a.m. some days. I did really shit for my ATAR score, but I graduated. Yay! And I got my music cert.
You got your WSA? She graduated.
Yeah. But I did not pass uni prep because I failed an assignment and I didn't even complete a different one. So I'm going to do that soon. I don't even know if I got into that one. They haven't replied to me now. Yeah. So after I left my dad's, the 2 that are older than me left of their own accord. And I don't know exactly what happened to them for a while. And then my dad said he didn't want my little sister anymore. So my auntie took her in, which is good because if she went to foster care again, it would have been really hard for me to find her again, you know? Plus foster care is like a 50-50. You know, either have a really great house or a really shit one where you have even more abuse. And it really just depends. And then she's still living there. One of my siblings, she lit a bunch of fires at my mother's house. The other one is living with one of my friend's dads, who is a creep.
Yay!
He used to flirt with me and my friends. He's creepy. Yeah, anyway.
Jazz hands on the business.
Jazz hands.
That's what they named it when I was younger, okay? A police officer was like telling us, like, if you want to tell your parents, tell them that the person across the street is giving you jazz hands.
Jazz hands.
Like, how the fuck am I meant to say that to my parents? Jazz hands.
The worst thing about that sister, though, is that she helped my friend get away from him. Like, why would you go there after that? Like, Jesus. Oh my lord. All that shit was crazy. And then, I think it was February 2021 that Alex was made.
So,
I have a phone call. Anyway,
hello.
Alex was made 2021.
Not too bad. I'm just letting you know beforehand I won't be coming in today.
That was after a suicide attempt. So, there you go.
Not right now, no. Was it?
Anyway, bye.